My family banned my adopted daughter from a wedding, so I walked away without a fight. Now they're flooding my phone with apologies. My name is Emily, and I'm the oldest of 3 sisters. Growing up, that meant I was the responsible one, the assistant, the babysitter, and the one who took care of things when our parents were too tired or distracted. I never complained. Sophia was the middle child, the performer, the attention magnet. Rachel, the youngest, was the baby. He got away with anything, and I was the one who cleaned up after everyone else. Things altered slightly as I grew older and became a mother myself, but not significantly. Lily, my 3-year-old daughter, had big serious eyes and a quiet way of observing the world, as if she didn't trust it yet. I remember crying in the car after dropping her off at preschool the first time she called me mom, and I made a promise to her right away. Sophia got engaged last spring, with a big announcement, a big ring, and a big Instagram caption. I congratulated her, of course, and Lily even made her a card, cut out little wedding bells, and glued them on with too much glitter. She would never feel unwanted in my family again. But I couldn't keep that promise. Sophia said it was sweet, then left it in the back seat of her car, where I found it 2 weeks later, half crumpled under a Starbucks cup. Lily was still excited about the wedding. She began looking at dresses online and asking if she should wear her hair up or down. I could tell she was nervous but hopeful, and she wanted to be included. Then the invitation arrived in the mail. It was one of those fancy ones, thick paper, gold trim, the kind that probably cost more than my monthly water bill. I opened it at the kitchen counter while Lily was doing homework at the table. The usual stuff, location, dress code, RSVP link, and then I saw it. Adults only, 18 and up, strictly enforced. No exceptions. I read it twice, thinking maybe I missed something, but I didn't. Lily saw my face before I could say anything, looked up from her notepad and said, "She doesn't want me there." I responded, "It's an 18+ wedding." She was quiet for a second, then continued, "Is it because I'm adopted?" That phrase shattered something in me. She said it so calmly, as if it was just a fact she'd come to accept. I told her, "No, of course not." But I knew what she meant. It wasn't the first time something like this had happened. Not exactly this, but other moments, smaller ones, slippery comments. My mother once introduced Lily as Claire's girl, never our granddaughter. Sophia referred to her as your daughter, as if she were referring to a neighbor's child. During family vacations, Lily would offer to help in the kitchen, and no one would even respond. I tried to believe it was unintentional, that they didn't mean anything by it, but this time was different. I didn't fight or yell, I just went online and clicked not attending. No explanation, just no. I thought that would be the end of it. The next day Sophia texted me, "Hey, just saw your RSVP. Is everything okay?" Then a follow-up. "If this is about the age thing, I hope you understand. We're being super consistent with everyone. Nothing personal, right? Except that Lily is her niece and she's 17, not 7. I didn't respond. Then Rachel messaged me and Sophia said, "Are you not coming?" "What? What's happening?" Then my mother called. She never calls me just to talk, so I picked up, bracing myself. "Emily," she said, "I heard you aren't going to the wedding. Is this actually regarding the age limit?" I answered, "Via is not invited. I am not going without her. She's almost 18. My mom said, "It's not like she's a young kid. She's family." There was a pause. "Don't torture your sister over this. It's only one night." I didn't fight. I just said, "We're not going," and hung up. That should have been it. But then came the group chat messages, the guilt, the innocuous comments. "Rachel, I can't believe you're making such a big deal over one rule. You always have to cause drama. Lily isn't the only one who isn't coming. This isn't about her. You're making it about her." My mother sent a long message about family unity and forgiveness, about how we've all made sacrifices, about how difficult it is to be in the middle, and I didn't respond. Lily deleted the dress photos from her phone, and he stopped talking about the wedding. She didn't cry, but I think that's what hurt me the most, how unsurprised she was. She'd already learned what I'd spent too long trying to ignore. So when Christmas rolled around, and no one had apologized or even brought it up, I made a quiet decision. If you had asked me 10 years ago what I thought motherhood would be like, I would have said birthday parties, messy hugs, and glitter on the carpet, not trying to protect a child from people who claim to love you both. I didn't invite them, There was no big announcement, no blow-up, just silence, and that's what enraged them the most. When Lily first came into my life, she was 3 years old and heartbreakingly serious. She had big brown eyes, soft curls, and a quiet stare that made you feel like she was memorizing everything you said just in case she needed to survive you. She didn't warm up quickly, didn't laugh at cue, and didn't run into my arms like a movie scene. But when she finally reached for my hand in the grocery store without being asked, I cried in the parking lot for 10 minutes. My husband Ethan said that was the moment she chose you. And I've been choosing her ever since. But my family never quite knew what to do with her. At first, I chalked it up to awkwardness and adjusting. Bernie didn't have my eyes. She didn't have my last name. She didn't participate in holiday conversations like the other kids, but it was more than that. My mother referred to her as the little one, instead of Lily, and Sophia once asked, "Are you going to tell her she's adopted when she's older?" While Mia was standing right there. Rachel's children received personalized Easter baskets from our parents, whereas Lily received a generic one with a happy spring tag. It wasn't overt. It was quieter. Easier to excuse if you wanted to, but Lily noticed. She always noticed. I tried to be patient. I explained. I redirected. When Lily was 6, she told my father she wanted to be an artist, and he smiled and said, "You'll need something more practical than that." When she was 8, she drew a picture of our family, me, Ethan and her, and gave it to my mother, who smiled and said, "Thank you." Then she set it down, and never mentioned it again. Lily asked later why it wasn't on the fridge like the other cousins' drawings. I didn't know what to say. The first time I really lost my patience was at Rachel's engagement party. Rachel had invited us, sort of. We were added to a mass text with a time, date and venue. "No, can't wait to see you." There was no personal message, but we went anyway because I thought this is how we change it. We keep showing up. At the party, Rachel greeted us with a tight smile and a hello, then turned to hug the next person without asking Lily anything. She wore a pale blue dress and silver flats she had chosen herself, and she was nervous. She kept asking if she looked okay, and if she could stay close to me. We stayed for about 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes, and Lily stayed by my side the entire time. On the way home she said, "I don't think she likes me." I said, "She doesn't know you." She said, "She's had 10 years. And I didn't have an answer for that. The thing is, I don't think they ever fully accepted that Lily wasn't a temporary thing. It's as if they thought I'd eventually have a real child, and this would become a sweet chapter. Last year for Lily's 16th birthday we rented a space at the community center, and decorated it with her artwork. She didn't want a big party with loud music. Instead she wanted to hang her paintings, serve cupcakes, and invite the people who had supported her. They didn't have to say it aloud. She made the invitations herself, and sent them out to family, friends, and a few teachers. Rachel and Sophia didn't show up, but my parents arrived 30 minutes late with a card to a sweet girl, and a $20 bill tucked inside. Lily thanked them politely, and then helped clean up. I put her canvases back in the car, but later that night, when we were home and the dishes were done, I found one of her sketches. It was a drawing of the three of us, her, me, and Ethan at the party, but our faces were blank. I think that's when I stopped hoping they'd change, not because of the card, the late arrival, or the lack of effort, but because it no longer hurt Lily in the same way. I knew what I had to do when the wedding invitation never arrived, not even a phone call or a conversation, just a silent exclusion. I didn't argue, plead, or ask for an exception. I simply told Lily that we weren't going, and she didn't cry. She simply nodded and said, "Okay." Later that night she inquired, "Do you think they realized we weren't present?" I answered, "Yes, because I needed her to believe she was important, even if they hadn't." We spent the wedding weekend at home. Ethan cooked French toast. Lily painted in the sunroom. I read a book cover to cover. It wasn't vengeance. It was not a demonstration. It was peaceful. And it felt strange at first. Quiet in a way that made you realize how much noise you'd been dealing with for years. I did not miss the ceremony. I didn't wonder how the flowers looked, or if the cake tasted well. I thought about Lily. I recalled how she used to seek their favor with every comment, holiday and family dinner, and how they slowly taught her not to expect it. And I considered the next holiday. For years, I'd hosted Christmas out of obligation, inviting people, feeding them, and pretending their half-hearted smiles were sufficient. This time, I won't. This time, I'd try something different. In early December, Ethan asked me, should I order the usual folding chairs? I shook my head. There are no extra seats this year. He did not push. Lily did not ask. And when the group chat started buzzing with questions like who's bringing dessert to Emily's this year, and whether we should come the night before as usual, I said nothing. I just watched the text build up, unread. I didn't say I wasn't hosting Christmas. I did not give a speech, write a bold status, or encourage everyone to go find another place to eat their ham and passive aggression. I just said nothing. And that stillness appeared to be the loudest thing I had ever done. The group conversation began to hum about December 15th. Rachel and Emily, are we still having Christmas Eve supper at your place? Let me know what I should bring. Sophia, of course. We will be 5 again. Please let me know if Lily wants anything specific this year. If she'll even be present this time. That one nearly got me. If she'll even be present this time. Like Lily was the issue. Her absence from their wedding appeared to be a personal failing on her part. Not due to being uninvited. I didn't respond. For the first time in years, I didn't thoroughly clean the entire house. I didn't reserve a roast. I did not get out the extra folding chairs. I didn't drag the large table leaf from the garage. And when no one answered, they began calling. First, it was my mother. I let it ring. Then Rachel, Sophia, and my father left voicemails. Emily, we just want to know what is going on. Your mother is upset. It is not too late to do the right thing. It's the correct thing. As if inviting individuals who excluded my daughter was the appropriate decision. As if feeding them would resolve what they refused to recognize. We did not host anyone that year. Instead, Ethan and I made lasagna in our pajamas, while Lily created sugar cookies in shapes that barely held together. We sat inside, watched movies, and opened our gifts early. We laughed longer than we had in months. It felt normal in a way that our previous holidays had not. Nobody walked on eggshells. Nobody had to translate pointed comments. When Lily entered the room, no one became silent. It was only us. And that is when the messages began to alter. December 26th. Sophia joined the group chat. I just think it is sad. We've all attempted to greet Lily, but Claire has made it impossible to contact her. Rachel, if you cut off family whenever there is a problem, you will end up with no one. Dad, how you're treating this is harsh. I apologize, but it is. My mother emailed me a photo of their Christmas tree, along with the caption. It was not the same without you. Lily would have enjoyed her gifts. I did not respond because the gifts were not for Lily. They were guilt-wrapped invitations to return and pretend everything was normal. And I'd been doing it for too long. A few days later, we received a card in the mail. I recognized the handwriting, even though there was no return address provided. Inside, my mother had written, I wish you'd think about the example you're setting. Lily will see how easily you shut people out. That statement stuck with me because I knew it was precisely what I wanted her to see. Not that love is disposable, Ray, but all love does not require you to shrink yourself. It does not expect you to sit silently while those around you pretend your sorrow is too uncomfortable to notice. Lily didn't inquire about the messages, but I knew she noticed the tension. She has never been one to inquire directly. He simply stares and absorbs, as if she is still figuring out which parts of the world are safe. One night she sat on the couch with a blanket over her legs, sketching something. She stopped, then asked, if I wasn't adopted, do you think they'd like me more? The question struck harder than any of the text. I sat down next to her. Sweetheart, I said. They'd probably pretend better, but the way they treat people who aren't like them, that was never about you. She looked at me with the same serious eyes from the day I met her and said, I don't think I want them to like me anymore. That's when I stopped waiting for an apology. A few days later, my father called back. I let it ring. Then he texted, your mother's not sleeping. She feels like she's lost you. We know we messed up, but that doesn't justify shutting everyone out. That's not who you are. I gazed at that sentence for quite some time. That is not who you are. I used to wonder about it. I used to doubt whether I was being too cool, sensitive, or harsh. But now I believe this is who I am. Someone who has finally decided what she will and will not tolerate. Someone who understands that maintaining peace at the expense of your child's dignity is not honorable. It's cowardice disguised as tradition. Sophia provided the final straw. She sent a voice memo. One of those rambling ones when folks attempt to appear calm, but each sentence contains a knife concealed inside. I just think it's sad, Claire. You've always made a great fuss about how much you adore Lily. But now it seems like you're using her as a shield. When someone doesn't treat her like royalty, you cut them off. That is not healthy. That is not parenting. That is an obsession. I didn't listen to the rest. I deleted the message and banned her number. Because, if loving Lily fiercely and completely is considered an addiction in their world, then I am addicted. I am fiercely, unabashedly concerned with safeguarding the one who needs me the most. Nothing they say will make me regret this. New Year's arrived and went peacefully. Lily fell asleep on the couch before midnight, holding a Halaton cookie. Ethan and I toasted with tea rather than champagne, and watched the fireworks on mute. He asked me, "Do you miss them?" I thought about it. "No," I replied. "I miss the idea of them. But that version never really existed." He gave a shrug. Didn't say anything else. Just reached for my hand. I'm not sure what will happen next. I'm confident they will keep trying. People like that don't leave gently. There will be additional texts and posts. Perhaps one of them will show up to Lily's graduation next year as if nothing happened. But I have made my decision. There will be no major showdown. Just a quiet distance. And sometimes, that is the most powerful option of all. It happened on Thursday. Cold, cloudy, and silent. I had just returned home from work, still wearing my coat, when the doorbell rang. I was not expecting anyone. Ethan was working late. Lily was upstairs putting together a portfolio project for her college applications. I opened the door to find my parents standing on my porch, as if nothing had happened since 2007. My mother held a Tupperware container in her hands. I believe they were oatmeal cookies, her specialty. Soft in the center, slightly charred around the edges, like the sort she used to make when I was younger. "Claire," she replied with a breathy little smile. "We thought we'd stop by." I didn't say anything at first, just stared at the container in her hands, as if it were booby-trapped. My father shifted alongside her. "Can we come in for a minute?" "No," I replied. There was a pause. Surprise? Perhaps, but not for long. My mother attempted to recover with another warm tone. "We simply wanted to talk. Things became heated. But we are still your family." She presented the cookies as a peace deal. I did not take them. That's when the smile began to fade. She added, "You don't have to be like this." Her voice tightened. "We know it's been difficult parenting a teenager while pushing everyone else away," my father added. "We tried to remain patient. We granted you room, but now you're going to lose your true family for a girl who'll go in a few months." My stomach constricted. "She's 17, my mother replied softly. "She'll be off to college shortly, and then what? You will be alone. You're going to regret this." I could hear words beneath the words. This was not about reconciliation. This was about control. And then my mother said it. Something I believe she had always known deep within. "Claire, I apologize. But she is not blood. She's not actually one of us." She stated it gently, as if she were doing me a favor. She seemed to expect me to nod and say, "You're right. I lost my way." Instead, I took a deep breath, stood back and said, "You need to leave right now." My father looked surprised. "Emily, no," I shouted more loudly. "You don't get to come here with cookies and pity and act like this is kindness. You don't get to insult my daughter to my face and then wonder why I'm not inviting you in. You're going to regret this," my mom shouted again, her voice cracking. "When she leaves you and forgets about you, you will notice that our door remains open." I didn't say anything. I didn't need to. I closed the door, locked it, and leaned against it until I couldn't hear their footsteps anymore. I told Lily the next day that I wasn't going to let her carry their poison, but I've never lied to her. Not about anything important. She sat very still while I told her what they said about her leaving, about not being blood, about me crawling back one day. She didn't cry, but I could see it in her hands, how tightly she clenched them in her lap, how stiff her shoulders were. They really think I'll leave you, she said. No, I said. They hope you will. That way I'll need them again. She nodded slowly. They don't get to hope things about me, she added. I assumed that was the end of it. I should have known better, because a week later, my cousin Sarah shared to me an email Rachel had sent to the extended family. It was long, rambling, and passive-hostile in the way that only Rachel could be. But the message was plain. She informed them that I had left the family for a female who maneuvered her way into Claire's life and alienated her from everyone else. She implied that Lily had been difficult, distant, and ungrateful. That my relationship with her was not healthy. I was consumed with protecting her from imagined slights. It was horrible. Even worse, it worked. People began reaching out. Aunt Linda texted me to see if I was okay. Uncle John called Ethan and asked if I was having a breakdown. My second cousin Chloe commented on one of Lily's art pieces. You're quite lucky. Don't forget who provided you a home. Lily saw it. I saw her look at it. And that was the final straw. I did not compose a response. I prepared a dossier. Screenshots, messages, photographs, every unanswered invitation, exclusion, and receipt. I prepared a letter that was neither passionate nor angry, but just stated facts. I only sent it to the extended family once, with the subject line indicating who desired the complete tale. I did not ask for sides. I did not demand apologies. I just told them the truth. Some responded, some did not. A few people quietly unfriended Rachel. A few people didn't believe what I said. It didn't matter since I wasn't doing it for them. I was doing this for Lily. So she'd never wonder if she'd dreamt it. So she wouldn't ask again. Do you believe they would like me if I were blood? After that, I blocked anyone who attempted to dispute. Everyone who responded. But maybe if you just talked it out. Everyone who believed that maintaining peace was more essential than protecting a youngster from emotional abuse disguised as family tradition. We never heard from them again. Not directly. I am sure people are still talking about us. I'm sure I'm the anecdote that gets told at parties when someone brings up odd youngsters. I am sure Lily's name is still mentioned in harsh, scornful tones. Allow them to talk. They lost the right to know her. Let's fast ahead. Ma is currently at college. She excelled in her art program. She is still calling me every night. Not out of obligation, but by habit. She sends images of her sketches. Sometimes she asks for my opinion. Sometimes she just wants to say goodnight. When I dropped her off at her dorm, she embraced me for a full minute and said, "I'm not going anywhere." She may have meant physically, but I understood what she meant. People claim you cannot select your family. I did. I chose her. Over bloodshed, guilt, and years of taught quiet. And if they still think I'll come crawling back one day, they can wait. Sometimes I remember that moment on the porch. My mother handed me those cookies, as if they might break years of silence. As if sweets could mend what they never dared to utter aloud. And sometimes late at night, I wonder if I overreacted, if I should have worked more, remained quieter, or been more forgiving. But then I recall the look on Lily's face when I told her, "They don't get to treat you like that." I also remember how firmly she held me before leaving for college. I remember promising her something no one had ever promised me growing up, that I would always choose her. Do you believe I did the correct thing?